Yeah, he's struggling to get on. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sideline to Baseline with MB and Klew. MB absent again. He got some business he need to take care of. So I got my two big bros holding it down with me, man. And listen, this is gonna be super entertaining because when these jokers get together, you never know what's about to happen. So he got on and then he got off. But Chuck is in the building, man. 12-year NBA veteran. Know the game. Know everything there is to know about the game. He is the game, and he came here to serve y'all the game. I'm trying to tell you. You ain't heard it. You about to hear it tonight. Pac Jam, you can hear now?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? What's up?
Okay. Man, we gonna jump right into this, man. I ain't getting none of these jokers the topic. I just told them it's gonna be everything NBA. Chuck, what's going on?
Ain't nothing going on, bro.
Okay.
What's up, Chuck King? What's going on?
What's up, Pac Jam?
Not much, man. Not much, man. Ready to dive into this thing, man.
Well, look here, I'm gonna jump right into it. I told these jokers this is gonna be everything NBA. So I'm just coming at them, see what's gonna come from the top of their dome right away. So is LaMelo Ball really that dude? He's starting to get a lot of chatter being written about him, being talked about him. Obviously came in a highly touted number 3 pick of the 2020 draft. And right now, leading all rookies, man. Leading all rookies with 12.7 rebounds and 6 assists as a 6'8" point guard. I think only averaging 25, 26 minutes a game. Pac Jam, go at him, man. Is he really?
Hey, listen. I love his game. He's the real deal. He's a baller. You know what I mean? And he's very, like I said, his shot isn't there, but one thing about him is he gives you everything that he does has, and that's how he's a high energy guy. You know what I mean? He has great court vision. He's a point guard. You know what I mean? He's a point guard. To me, he's a point guard off the old guard with a little more flash in it. You know what I'm saying? Because he has great court vision, man. You see the passes these guys out there doing, and the way he pushed that ball up the floor, man, it's just amazing, man. And I look for him to continue to just go up. I really do. As he get more and more acclimated to the NBA lifestyle, I look for him to just do bigger and better things, man, on that level.
Hey, Chris, I'm glad you took that too sexy picture off your Facebook. Chuck, is LaMelo Ball really that dude, man?
Yes, LaMelo Ball is that dude. I mean, you got to think this kid has dedicated his life to be where he is now. He dropped out of high school. He's a seasoned rookie. I mean, he's been playing against professionals for the last 3 years, be it Europe or be it, in the LA Summer Leagues. So he's acclimated to playing against pros. His game is more suitable to the NBA professional game. He's a 6'8" point guard. He grew up under LeVar Ball, who's a tough customer. He's been around his two brothers. He's the youngest of the 3. So there's nothing that kid is going to see that he's going to be overwhelmed by. And as he continues to see these teams over and over again and gets familiar with how they're going to guard him and how they're going to defend him, you'll see him be even more comfortable, and you'll see him get even better. I mean, I see him in the near future, barring any injuries, being an all-star in this league and really excelling.
Well, man, both of y'all showed a lot of love, so I'm going to throw this at y'all. James Wiseman, 11-6 and a game. Anthony Edwards, 13-3. Tyrese Maxey, 11-3, basically. Man, listen, it sounds like everybody going to be a baller then from this class. This class went from a bunch of unknown, and when I say unknowns, I'm saying there was no real standout. Everybody was arguing, well, this guy could be better than that guy, and that guy could be better than this guy. And you guys say LaMelo is that dude. Then all these dudes, that dude, man. The whole class, that dude.
That's not necessarily the case, bro. You got to look at the different roles that they're playing. Like again, LaMelo Ball is actually really coming off the bench, playing bench minutes, but he's also asked to carry the team. You know, James Wiseman ain't being asked to carry the Warriors. He's just a good piece to an up and coming team. You know, other than Anthony Edwards and Maxey, those guys are coming off the bench, but it's still a different role. And to do what this kid is doing, to be coming off the bench, and I think he's in a perfect situation. He's a 6'7" point guard, which we all know that Michael Jordan is cut from a different cloth with the Phil Jackson big guard scenario. So he's in a really good situation. And he's been asked to carry a young team. So I think that's a little bit different of a role. So guys like Tyrone Maxey is playing, he's not being asked to carry the load. He's actually come off the bench and do a little something here and there, and whatever he gives them is a plus. But LaMelo is actually play and be in the games at the end of the game during crunch time, and Charlotte ain't doing too bad for the pieces that they have.
When you look at it, those guys you name play on a team with another guy that demands a double team. Okay. When you look what Maxey's playing at in Philadelphia, you got Embiid over there. You know what I'm saying? When you look at Wiseman, you got Steph Curry over there. When you look at LaMelo Ball, he has nobody over there. I know you're not going to mention Rozier doesn't get a double team. He's not playing with guys that command double teams over there. He's playing with guys who are really just guys.
Okay.
To be frank, don't look at the money they're making, because Michael Jordan is known to just throw money around. So don't look at the contract, but he's just playing with just guys. So when you look at who he's playing with and his body of work, you have to say that he is the real deal. And just piggybacking on what Chucky said, this guy's been playing against pros for the last 3 years. And not only that, he has been on a steady diet of basketball at the highest level when he wasn't even on that level. Remember, he was the baby boy playing with the big boys all his life. That's why that's why I've always said he was going to be the special one, because he benefited from his dad and never allowing him to play with his level. He always had him playing with his big brothers on their team. And so you see that now in his game, that he's not afraid of no moment. You know what I mean? Look at him last night. He dunked on a cat last night and looked at him and told him, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he just out there with the swag. He's out there balling, man.
Well,
that's the Magic. He showed out on the Magic when he came out here on Church Street.
Listen, man, I think the jury's still out on him for me, man, if you ask me. Because when I look at this class and I compare to the monsters last year, Ja Morant, Kendrick Nunn, and Zion Williamson, who all finished 1, 2, and 3 in the Rookie of the Year award, man. You had 18 and 7, 15 and 3, and 23 and 7. That don't compare, man.
But you still naming guys who had a better fit.
Listen,
but those guys had better players. They playing with a better cast than he is. Zion Williams had a better cast. Ja Morant had a better cast. Look at the Charlotte Bobcat roster.
Man, he's not playing with I don't care about that. I care about these numbers.
Well, the jury is still out on all of them. I mean, if you're gonna judge a kid, we can name the Ja Morants and the other guys, because we've already seen them for a complete year. These guys we talking about, they ain't even played 20 games yet. So the jury is still out on all of them. Anything can happen.
Right. But I'm just saying, man. I think obviously last year Zion was hurt at this point still. So I can agree with that. We didn't know what he still had. But hey, listen, man. We gotta make guess. So that we know who was right and who was wrong at the end of the year.
Hey, listen, the jury's still out on Zion, and we done seen him for a year.
Come on now, that ship done sailed, man. He's a 20 and whatever guy every night. I don't care what night you talk about. He's a 20 or whatever guy.
Listen, do you see where they are in the rankings?
Yeah, they trash, but he's still a 20 and whatever guy.
Last year, this time when he came back, they were saying that if he was back healthy, that he was fighting for a playoff position. Now all of a sudden he's back completely healthy, and they're not even in the race.
Well, he's not a leader. He's not a guy that you're gonna be able to
tell you the same thing you just told me at Pac Jam. I don't care about all that.
No, y'all talking about winning. I'm talking about getting yours. We having two different conversations.
Hey, listen, he ain't doing that no good.
Oh, he doing that. He's still a 20 or whatever guy. That's exactly what's happening around there. But yeah, Pat, what you think about them versus this last year's group? Because my whole thing is every class seems to be very, very different. And what I mean by that is I think what's a top guy last year's class when you got those three that I just named versus any three of LaMelo's class, man, I think you talking apples and oranges.
Well, again, Klew, you got to understand something. Everything is about what you fit in, where you got drafted to. Because even when you look at the number one pick of the draft, you look at Edwards and you look at him over there in Minnesota. He's with a team that they're just now starting to give him the minutes and realize he should be on the floor. Okay? Mm-hmm. And he's with a team that's going to go inside first. They're going to go inside to the Big Cat. Well, right now the Big Cat is out because of the COVID, but that's the team that's going to feature Karl-Anthony Towns. So, again, it's about where you go at. Because I still say in this class, I still like Wiseman, I still like LaMelo, I still like Edwards. And I would put them three up against Barrett, Zion Williams from last year. Because RJ, but to me, RJ.
You don't want that trouble. That was 15 and 6, man.
I will say this here. Edwards, I would say Edwards, LaMelo Ball, as well as Wiseman will all be better pros than RJ Barrett. All three of those guys will be better pros than RJ Barrett. I will argue that right now.
Hey, Chuck, jump in there, man. Support them Blue Devils.
Do you realize there's games RJ Barrett looks lost in New York? Austin Rivers has made RJ Barrett go to the bench.
Man, that's trash in New York. Get him out of there. We shouldn't have never been there anyway.
No.
Hey, all I'll say is this. The guys that we're talking about in this year's draft are affecting winning way more than the guys from last year's draft. That's all that need to be said.
No, not John and Kendrick Nunn, man.
Man, Kendrick Nunn don't even play. You don't even know he's in the NBA
number. Kendrick Nunn wasn't even drafted. How you go from drafted guys to trying to find a guy that wasn't drafted that gave you a couple big games last year? Now you want to say he the guy? You
got to be proud of that fact too, because that's a guy that found his niche in a playoff team.
Who?
Well, guess what? Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn had opportunity with Kendrick Nunn
had second and rookie of the year votes.
Are we talking about the guys that got drafted or the guys that didn't get drafted?
Hey man, we talk. Hey, it don't matter. I'm just throwing guy names in there. That's his class.
Okay.
That's still his class.
Well, what I'm gonna say to you guys is this. You have more rookies in last year's class that were supposed to make an immediate effect on that team. Zion Williamson was the number 1 pick. Okay. John Morant was the number 2 pick, number 3 pick, correct, one or the other. So those guys, when you get those type of guys, those guys were supposed to be immediate impacts of changing the amount of wins that you get on your team, regardless of what their numbers are. Okay, you got these years, you got Wiseman, you got Anthony Anderson. Is it Anthony Anderson?
Edwards.
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards obviously went to a team who really didn't understand or didn't know what they were drafting. Simply because how many number 1 picks do you have come off the bench? Which says, okay, well, you must not be one of the better swingmen on our team. All right, if that's the case, then you never should have drafted a swingman. You probably should have drafted a big man. So right. His situation is totally different from any other number 1 pick that you've ever had before, but he's still making some type of an impact. Now that Cat is gone, he's starting to make, he's trying to give him the ball a little bit more. But you got two different drafts that are actually do totally separate, different things for their teams. But you still have great talent, and you have these guys in this year's draft affecting more wins for their team. I like RJ Barrett, but RJ Barrett ain't ending up with no wins in New York. He's not affecting wins in New York.
Who is?
In New York?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Pac Jam. That was my argument.
Actually, the person that's carrying that team right now is Julius Randle. He's having a remarkable year.
But it doesn't matter because they still terrible, is what
right.
I was saying.
But again, but to attest what Chucky was saying, when you get guys top 3 in the draft, those guys are supposed to make an impact. RJ Barrett was a number 3 pick. There was a lot invested in him. So for him to be doing what he's doing, that's bad because they invested so much into that pick.
Okay. And y'all know just like I know, if a guy gets drafted in the first round, especially as a lottery pick, as a franchise guy, if they give up on you within a year and a half, something's wrong with that. Yeah. Because most general managers, regardless of how bad they think you are, they're not just going to give up on you because they don't want to seem like they were wrong.
So Chuck, you telling us they've given up on RJ already?
Well, I mean, if I was a part of the New York Knicks organization and I drafted that guy, if I drafted him number 3, he's gonna be in the lineup and we're gonna live and die with him. We're the Knicks. We're the Knicks. What else do we have to lose? We've been losing with everybody else. So what do we have to lose? So why would you all of a sudden take him out of the lineup? Just like Kevin Knox.
Right.
You're looking at Kevin Knox, who was your number 7 pick 2 or 3 years ago, and you're looking at 18 minutes, 2 for 6, 3 points, 6 points. Like
DNP's coach's decision.
Like, come on, man.
So look, y'all. Let's move right along. Staying in the NBA though, should the East be trying to make moves due to the Nets? Nets triple dribble.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think everybody can stay pat because the Nets is showing us that they're not what people they're a lot more hype and substance. So I wouldn't make no moves, especially if I'm Milwaukee. If I'm Milwaukee, I will remain pat, stay pat where I'm at, and continue to just get my team more chemistry and continue to get guys to figure out what their role's gonna be, as the season progresses. But I would not make no moves at all. Because, listen, but the one thing about the Nets, they can't guard a Paul Call with a Uzi.
Well, I think that's just the problem, though, because they're trying to make moves. They're still trying to figure out a way to stop that from happening. And you're still saying that if you on the East, you we good, just get better, just keep doing what we doing.
Well, because with those 3 salaries they got, they can't just go get anybody. They finna get stuff that's at home. They finna they're trying to get guys that's been bought out contracts, things. They can't go get nobody. They got 3 huge salaries. Mm-hmm. And that was the situation when they gave up so much to get Harden. And right now, if you listen to Steve Nash he was on there again last night saying, listen, until we want to play defense, we ain't gonna beat nobody anyway.
So you telling me that, and Chuck, this question directed at you, that KD can't play defense? I thought that's what he showed us when he went to Golden State. You're telling me that Kyrie can't, as talented as he is offensively, he can't play defense, and as well as James Harden has always been one of those free safety type defenders. He can't lift his defense back up to be able to lead the league at least top 5, top 10 in steals again.
I don't think that they're saying that they can't play defense. Defense is a mindset. It's an identity thing.
Want to.
Those guys' identity is give me the ball and in my spot, and you can move everybody else out of the way because I'm pretty much unstoppable. And it also starts with coaching. I mean, when has Mike D'Antoni, and this is no disrespect to Mike D'Antoni because I think he's a hell of actually no, I think he's a hell of a coach. Period. But when have you ever known one of his teams to be a defensive-minded team?
Yeah, that ain't what they do.
Okay, so now all of a sudden you get them 3 offensive juggernauts who has to put up a bunch of points on a nightly basis in order for them to even get themselves a chance to win. You expect those guys to all of a sudden just be a defensive-minded organization? I don't think that's going to happen. You know, people don't understand that in order for you to score a bunch of points in that league on a night-to-night basis, it takes a lot of energy to do that. And somebody going to have to sacrifice and play some defense. I think that's why you see them making moves to try to bring back a guy like a Iman Shumpert, and guys like that.
But guys, my argument is they can't play any defense.
Mindset.
So Chuck, they can't play any
your
defense.
Mindset ain't.
But they still rank number 2. They can't play any defense, but they're still right now ranked number 2 in the East. And you guys still feel this thing should play out the way it is. If I'm an Eastern Conference team, I'm trying to make moves. I'm trying to do something to upgrade my team because obviously we know we're gonna struggle to score with them. And so yeah, you're gonna have to find a way to hold them back.
I don't think that argument could be.
Hold on, Pat. I don't think a game plan like the Washington Wizards had last night is gonna work against them every night. I think they'll end up being the team with more points, more nights than not.
Kevin, but I don't think, what you're saying, that doesn't, to me, when you look at Milwaukee, it doesn't fit Milwaukee. Milwaukee needs to stay where they at. Milwaukee has a good team. Milwaukee has outside shooting. They got rebounding. They got defense. They got rim protection. Milwaukee don't need to change anything. And the thing about it is, you're saying, oh, they're going to make moves, but guess what? Until the big 3 buy into defense, it doesn't matter what other players you go get. Yeah, they wouldn't sign Amon Shumpert, but those 3 got to start playing defense because you're giving up 135, 145 every single night. And remember this. Remember this.
149, man. That's 150 points.
Another thing you got to look at, another thing that you have to take into account is this. KD is coming off a major injury. KD cannot be expected to be going all out like this during the regular season on coming back from an Achilles injury going into the playoffs when those games are going to be really played night in, night out. So at some point, you got those other guys as well as the guys from the bench. You got to find an answer. Now, what I noticed that Chuck mentioned, and I've heard Chucky say this today, and I've heard people on other networks say the same thing about a Mike D'Antoni team. But why we keep saying Mike D'Antoni team and he's the assistant coach?
Yeah.
You told me, because you overlooked everybody on the market and you handpicked Steve Nash. I need analysts. I need former NBA players. I need you guys to call out Nash on what he's doing because it's on him, not on D'Antoni.
I think people are saying Mike D'Antoni because you got to think it is. Steve Nash is only going to be a product of what he's been coached under. So the 2 guys that he's coached up under, that he's played up under as a player, was Don Nelson and Mike D'Antoni. So those 2 guys are offensive-minded coaches. They ain't never had no defensive philosophy where they're top ranked in the league as far as their defense. So the reason why everybody equates to Mike D'Antoni because he's the one sitting on the bench behind Steve Nash. Steve Nash is, don't get it twisted, he's a great basketball mind, but he's a rookie coach at the end of the day. So why did they hire D'Antoni? They hired D'Antoni so that when Steve Nash get into difficult situations throughout the course of the season, who's Steve Nash gonna look to? He's gonna look right to his right and ask D'Antoni, what should he do in this situation? But again, I think everybody's gonna be still looking to be making a move, whether you're in the East or the West. New Jersey still got Brooklyn still got to get a big man. They're going into every game with just one big. We don't know how that's going to end up. They end up playing against a team like Philadelphia 76ers in a 7-game series.
Right.
One big man ain't going to get it. They mess around and play against the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series. and somebody get injured or somebody go down and get in foul trouble, they're gonna be in a work. They could be in a mess of trouble. So I think at this point in time of the season, everybody's looking to improve their team. It's just a matter of what can you get, what's out there, and what's gonna really ultimately be a good fit for whatever your scheme is or whatever your identity is.
Okay. I don't think Brooklyn's coming out. Brooklyn's not coming out the East. You heard it here first. I like Milwaukee's coming out of the East.
Well, they got to get themselves together. Okay, man. I was talking about Brooklyn and them, obviously looking to make moves. At the same time, I'm hoping that the other Eastern Conference teams are thinking the same thing. Because when you look at that purple and gold, Chuck, when you look at that team you played for, that purple and gold, they don't seem to be satisfied. They in every trade talk that you can think of, they name floats somewhere around there. And most importantly, they own the hottest free agent, as it sounded, as much as people talking about him like he a free agent. So I'm just going to call it what it is. They on the trail of the hottest free agent in basketball right now. That's Bradley Beal.
Well, again, like I said, everybody's still trying to get their teams better. It's not a situation where everybody's trying to stand pat. I think people that know championship basketball, like the Lakers organization, are looking at their roster and what they're putting out on the basketball court and saying, you know what, if we go with this team right here, we may not be able to get it done.
Right.
They thought that they was going to be able to get it done. Then guess what? They wouldn't be talking about trade talks. But because LeBron is getting a year older, and they're looking at throughout the games that they played and say, hey, man, this might not be what we thought it was at the very beginning of the season. They're looking to get their team better, as is everyone else.
Well, see, Chuck, and that's why I feel like we light years ahead of everybody else. Pack jail.
Well, listen, I keep telling people, man, Rob Pelinka is the GOAT of all GMs. I stand on that. Rob Pelinka is the GOAT of all GMs, man. He really is. And when you look at the Lakers situation and you look at what they're doing, even with the roster they have now, okay, the Lakers are playing great basketball right now. You look at Montrezl Harrell, he's number one in the league on isolation plays. You know, he's number one in the league on isolation one-on-one plays. When you look at what they're doing, man, I mean, it's just, to me, I think it's the Lakers here and the rest of the league is here. Right. You know what I'm saying? When you look at it, when you look at the landscape of how things are going, you know what I mean? We've heard so much talk about the Clippers, and once again, the Clippers are showing us inconsistent throughout this season. One night, the Clippers look like world beaters. The next night, they up by 18, 19, they lose again. So my thing is, you got rid of Doc Rivers because he was up by 19, 18 points 3 times on Denver, but you still doing that this season. You still ain't addressed the point guard situation. And to me, another thing that I see is they don't like Lou Will no more because Lemon Pepper ain't getting no role. He ain't getting no play no more.
He on what it is, management.
They ain't playing. I don't know what. No, he ain't on load man. He started game 1 on load management. Lemon Pepper Lou ain't getting no play, man.
Load management, man.
You know what I'm saying? Seems like to me, Tyrone Lue ain't a fan of Lemon Pepper Lou, man. That's what I'm noticing. And they still ain't got a point guard. So they got holes too. They got problems too. Utah has been on 5 late. But again,
hold on. Stop right there, because you done triggered me, and I'm gonna move to this next topic. It's called capping or not capping, baby. Is you capping? Is you real about what we're seeing right now as we get out of this first quarter of the NBA season? Because we done slid into the second quarter, Chuck, already. We're in the second quarter, hey, 72 games, baby.
Listen. I find it real amazing, and I hey, look, Pat Chan, you say a lot of good stuff, but when you go to talk about them Lakers, man, you just be above yourself, man.
I'm speaking facts. They were champs. They were champs now.
Listen.
They were champs.
We are in the first 20 games of the season, fellas.
But the Lakers was like that last year.
Don't put exactly. And guess what the Lakers did? They got better as the season went along.
And they won.
Okay. Everybody gonna be inconsistent in the regular season. The reason why Lemon Pepper probably not playing because guess what? They don't need him. They don't need him right now. He done proven himself. What is Lou Williams gonna do right now in the regular season that he ain't done in any other regular season? Is it about what he doing in the regular season, or is it about what he need to do for them in the playoffs?
He ain't doing that in the playoffs though. See, that's the thing.
They ain't
See,
got to the playoffs yet.
That's what I don't like
They
about
ain't got
guys
to the
like
playoffs
you.
yet.
That's what I don't like about guys like you. You guys always on this playoff narrative. Oh, playoff in the playoff. Well, guess what? The Clippers made the playoff last year and got backdoor swept. I'm tired of this. When the playoff come, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. No, I need you to do it right now.
So this is what this is how you feel. As long as whatever the Lakers do in the regular season, it's cool. As long as they ready for the playoffs, but can't nobody else say that.
They balling right now. Nobody in the Lakers organization is saying wait for the playoffs. They playing hard every night.
We just slipped the number 3, Chuck. We just slipped the number 3 after our 2 games slid.
Okay, let me ask you this question: do you think anybody in the Lakers organization worried about them slipping to number 3?
No, that's right what we want.
You know why? You know why? Because they don't give a damn about the regular season. Look, they feel like regardless of what happened, as long as they ready to come playoff time, it don't matter.
But they're not playing.
That's what the Clippers saying too. It don't matter.
They still saying that, Chuck?
Well, when does it matter? Because
you really saying the Clippers are still talking like that after last year?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
They're gonna be back in the same situation.
Why wouldn't they?
They're gonna be back in the same situation.
Why wouldn't they? Okay, so let me ask you a question. Let me ask both of y'all. Let me ask both of y'all a question. Regardless of who coaching that team, are they a playoff team? Yes or no?
Playoffs, correct? Yeah.
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 Okay, so if they're hold on, Pat Jam, are they a playoff team or not? Regardless of who coaching?
Yeah.
Okay, so if they're a playoff team, then why would we be worried about what we do in the regular season, regardless? Why would we be worried about that?
Because that's the same team.
See, this is good stuff. Chuck, this is real good stuff. So we're at this point now in the NBA where regular season just doesn't matter. That's where we are now.
For veteran playoff teams, all the Clippers are saying, hey, man, we want to finish in one of the top 4 seeds, and we know that at some point in time, we got to win some road games in the playoffs to get us over the hump. That's the only thing they worried about.
But last year,
but that's what they aren't. They aren't a veteran playoff team.
What you mean? They just in the playoffs last year with the same team.
Go ahead, Pat.
Listen, that's the same thing happened last year. They took so many games off, never played a lot of games together.
And another thing, everybody stop doing. Stop talking about last.
Why not? Why not? That's all we got to go by.
It don't go, but no, it go by what they're doing right now.
Okay,
today.
outside of Kawhi Leonard.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Outside of Kawhi Leonard, who's proven over there? Who's proven over there outside of Kawhi Leonard? Who's proven in the playoffs outside of Kawhi Leonard? Who's proven?
Say what?
We keep saying, I keep hearing about them being such a playoff team and such a this and such a that. But outside of Kawhi Leonard, who's proven? In the playoffs, who's proven over there besides Kawhi Leonard?
What do you mean they're not proven? What are you talking about?
No, he's asking. He's asking for you to name any players besides Kawhi Leonard.
Listen, Paul George took the Indiana Pacers to the Eastern Conference Finals damn near by himself. What are you talking about?
Who they played to win? He never made the Eastern Conference Finals.
They played against the Miami Heat and lost to the Miami Heat. What are you talking about?
Listen. Again, we keep making like Paul George a made man. Paul George is not a made man, Klew, and Chucky knows that. Paul George is not a made man. Paul George has never had no playoff success. You got eliminated.
2014 Pack Jam. Heat versus the Pacers. No. Eastern Conference.
Playoff success is winning. Not I got there. It's winning. When we started giving rings out and giving championships out for getting there, it's about winning.
Okay, so
when
Okay,
LeBron,
so
when
okay,
LeBron
so
made
so
the,
so
when
so,
LeBron
so if
made the
that's the
Eastern
case,
Conference
then
Finals,
so
when LeBron made,
so
listen, when LeBron made the Eastern Conference Final 5, 6 times, what they kept saying, he ain't won nothing yet. He ain't won nothing
he's
yet. So
he's a playoff veteran. He's a playoff veteran, regardless of what he won or not.
Right.
So you mean to tell me that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are not playoff veterans? They don't know what it feel like to be in the playoffs. They don't know what it feel like to take their team to the Eastern Conference Finals. What are you talking about?
I never mentioned Jason Tatum now. Paul George, again, you
What are
got
you
to go
talking
way
about?
back to Indiana. Way back to Indiana when he
You just
when he
said
had a slight of
you just
revenge.
said it.
His
You just
last
said it.
3 times,
You just said it. Listen, man. You just said that he wasn't even in it. You just said that he wasn't even no playoff guy.
okay. The last 3 years, Paul George in the playoffs, what has he done? I'll wait.
He had some good games last year in the playoffs.
No. I'll wait. The last 3 years, what has he done?
Okay, if that's the case, then hey, look, what has Bradley Beal done in the last 3 years? Since
Nothing.
since the Lakers won him so bad,
We
what has he done?
discussing the Clippers. We discussing the Clippers and the Lakers. Don't change the narrative. We discussing the Clippers and the Lakers.
Answer the question. Answer the
We
question.
discussing the
What
Clippers
has
and
Bradley
the
Beal
Lakers.
done
Brad
last
ain't
3
done
years?
nothing, Chuck. I know the answer to that. Nothing.
We're
He
not
ain't never
discussing
got
Bradley
Okay, but
Beal.
the Lakers still want him though, right?
it. Yeah, we want it.
The Lakers still
To
want him,
pair
right?
along with
Yeah,
LeBron
we want
James.
that. I want all 40 a night.
To pair along with LeBron James.
I
What
want
we're
it.
talking about is Paul George, the
Hey,
last
look,
3 years, to come up small.
Hey, look. What has James Harden done the last 3 years?
Balled out. What y'all talking about? Get off James.
Underachieved and gave up every year. Quit
No,
every year.
he
James Harden quit every year in the playoffs. The last 3 years, quit.
He ran out of gas,
Hey.
man. He needed some
Yeah,
help.
quit. He quit. Exactly. He quit.
He
Exactly.
needed some help.
Hey,
He quit.
listen. How come the last 2 closeout games of Paul George? How come the last 2 closeout game of Paul George playoffs, you had more points than he did, and you was at home with Russell Westbrook? You saw what happened in that closeout game. Then last year against Denver, the closeout game hit the side of the backboard. What's going on? But y'all trying to make it like he's
Hey man, that
amazing.
didn't happen. Hey, listen, man. That done happened to Kobe Bryant before. That happens.
I can't remember no Kobe Bryant when I like no Paul George. I can't remember that.
The one year they say he quit against Phoenix. The one year they say he quit. They were talking
And
about in Game 7.
he still averaged more points than Paul George.
Oh, now we go from a closeout game to how many points he averaged. Don't nobody care about that.
Kobe scored 35.
Look.
Y'all say he quit because his mannerisms on the court. Paul George didn't quit and scored 5 points.
Hey man, you can call it what you want to call it, man. Call it what you want to call it. But I can tell you this: that man took his team and led his team to the Eastern Conference Finals, which a lot of these guys who you bragging about ain't done.
Right. Okay. Well, look, man, y'all gonna take this on to capping or not? Who capping and who ain't? I know Chuck is first quarter of the season, first 20 game, but we out of the first quarter. We in the second quarter because remember now, this 72, not 82, not your. This ain't your NBA this year, Chuck. This 72, they get 10 off. Utah,
I mean,
that's why I cut you off. Utah, they capping or they not capping? They for real?
You asking me that?
Yeah. Is Utah for real?
Utah ain't capping. They for real. Because you know what Utah did? Utah, they got it. Last year, Utah had got a late season trade with Jordan Clarkson.
Uh-huh.
And I liked that move because they brought more athleticism out there to the mountaintop, out there to the Mormons. They brought some athleticism. And when you look at what's going on now with Spider-Man, Donovan Mitchell, and Jordan Clarkson together, that gives them great athleticism in that backcourt. They for real. They the new Denver. They what Denver was last year. Remember I told you that.
All right, Chuck, jump in there.
No
Obviously,
cap.
you think they capping.
okay, I'll say this. What has Utah done
The man said they capping or no capping. They ain't asked you all that there. Is they capping or not?
11 game winning streak, Chuck. They just got 11 game winning streaks now.
Listen, man, they straight capping.
You want to was that clear enough?
Listen, they straight capping. They got the same team they had last year. the same exact. Look, Clarkson was on their team last year.
And I said he was a late season acquisition. They couldn't figure out how they wanted to work that, but now they know how to play both of them together. They got a good thing over there. They for real. Like I said, they did Denver this season. Of last year, they did Denver this season. They gonna be there.
They get put out in the first round.
And cause see, that's what hurt Denver by not keeping Jerry and Grant. They lost a lot of athleticism and they lost a great perimeter defender.
Well, Pat, we moving right along. Memphis Grizzlies, baby, capping or not capping, baby.
Forever capping, man. Money bag, yo.
Chuck.
Are we talking about winning games and making the playoffs? I think they'll make the playoffs, but they ain't gonna do nothing else.
Well, they number 5 right now in the West, so that's why I'm talking about positioning. Are they truly a big team?
They'll make the playoffs, but they ain't no threat. They capping.
Okay. Hey, Pac Jam, back to you. Them Phoenix Suns, baby, sporting Chris Paul and all. Capping or no cap?
No, they for real. I like Phoenix Suns. They ain't capping. They're gonna be a problem in that. They make the playoffs in that 7-8. They make the playoffs. They're gonna be a problem. They're gonna be a problem. They really are.
Chuck.
I think they'll be for real. I mean, I think they're the same. They ain't really no threat. They're a dangerous team. Nobody wants to play Phoenix in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Because they got a kid that can go bananas. If they can get DeAndre Ayton to do a little bit more of the dirty work, Chris Paul is gonna be Chris Paul. But they're a dangerous team.
All right, the Philadelphia 76ers, Doc Rivers, baby. Capping or no cap, right? They number 1 in the East.
They ain't capping over there. They dead for real over there, man. They dead for real over there, man. Doc Rivers, again, I look for them to be around and make some noise, but I don't look for them to come out the East. I look for Milwaukee to come out the East, but I look for them to make some noise, though.
Chuck?
They capping. We done seen this book every year. Doc Rivers get out the gate fast. He got his team looking good. They looking like they gonna get to the finals. And they up 3-1 and they lose to somebody. We done seen that book. We all
but see, remember I was the same one told y'all that Doc Rivers wasn't the elite coach, and y'all attacked me for that. But I said he wasn't elite. See how that come back? I told y'all Doc Rivers wasn't elite when y'all was on that hard and hustle over there on Church Street. I told y'all he is not an elite coach. He's a average coach.
Listen, man.
But I know.
I never said that he wasn't an elite coach. I just said we've seen this before out of his teams. You ain't finna take the Philadelphia 76ers that got the same. Listen, they got the same players on their team. The culture is the same. They just ain't hit that bump in the road yet. That's the same way they are. The same way.
The East is Milwaukee's the lose.
Same way. They do the same thing.
And then finally, Indiana Pacers. Capping or no cap, baby. Right.
Who?
The Indiana Pacers. They
capping over there, man. They capping over there, man. Same stuff, man. Same thing going on, man. They capping over there, man. Ain't nothing. Nothing.
Chuck dogged him out. He said who? So that's how he felt about him.
I didn't hear who you said.
Indiana
Pacers. Indiana Pacers.
Right.
Yeah.
They feel seed right now.
Oh man, people ain't gonna do nothing, man. People ain't nothing, man.
All right. Let's move along.
They ain't gonna do nothing. They can't.
Who need to be hitting that panic button, Chuck? I'm going right to the East, man. Should the Miami Heat be hitting the panic button sitting at 7-12, 13th, ranked in the East, man? Should they be hitting panic button?
I'm gonna say the Orlando Magic.
No, I'm saying the Heat, though. Talk about the Heat. should, because this is a finals team that went from obviously being the defending Eastern Conference champs to now they 13th in their conference right now. So should they be hitting the panic button?
The Heat will be all right, man. The Heat been dealing with some injuries. You know, they just not getting Jimmy Butler back, not Tyler Hero gone. You know, they're searching to find the same chemistry they had while they were in the bubble. And it's a little different now, but they'll be all right, man. They'll start stringing together some wins and they'll be okay. They look differently than they did last year, but you know, I don't think it's still a little too early to hit the panic button. It is the East now.
Okay.
I think the team that needs to hit the panic button is Toronto Raptors.
Well, Pat, you ain't let me get there. I'm talking about the Heat. Should they be hitting the panic button? Yes or no?
No. First of all, we gotta be real. The Heat overachieved last season, okay? They overachieved, first of all. Secondly, the Heat is just who the Heat are. That's who they are. They a grinded out team. They're not, I mean, that's what you give. That's what they are. I mean, Jimmy, like Chucky said, Jimmy Butler just came back, but I don't look for the Heat to make no serious noise like last season.
Okay. All right, now let's go right to Toronto. Chuck, should Toronto be hitting the panic button? They sitting at 10 right now at an 8-12 record.
I think the Toronto Raptors are who they are, man. You know, they had that 1 year where they won the championship, and they kind of flowed off of that. You know, they rode the wave for as long as they possibly could. You know, those guys that were injured that they had come sitting on the bench were going to be the guys that could replace Kawhi, and that they weren't going to lose anything. And I think that they were wrong. You know, it's hard out there playing with 2 5'11" guards at the 1 and the 2 with Kyle Lowry and Van Vliet. You know, then you lose a guy like Marc Gasol, who's pretty much the staple to your defense, your veteran big. So, you know, they're kind of starting over a little bit. And you know, I don't really think I don't think you should be panicking because again, that's just who they are.
Wow. So basically, remember now, this was always a top 4, top 5 Eastern Conference team, even before the Kawhi thing happened. And you're saying they should be
lose, Kevin.
Sitting at 10?
You lost Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol. Those you lost your whole front court. Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, and Kawhi Leonard. That's a huge blow for any team.
Well, but my only argument is they were that team. They were top 5 team before these guys that you just named ever showed up.
I don't agree with that.
They were still top of the Eastern Conference champ. I mean, top of the East, and then these guys came and put them over the top
of the East. They were the top of the East with Mark and with Serge.
No, Pac Jam, what you think?
Well, he's correct on that. I mean, when you lose those 3 players, because remember, before Kawhi got there, they did have Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka was there. The problem is, in this past offseason, he was very aggressive on retaining his core players, and not going to and not trying to go out and fill those positions in, because he gave $80 million to the largest contract ever to an undrafted free agent, which is what the guard name over there?
Van Fleet, baby.
Van Fleet. He gave Van Fleet $80 million. Then he turned around, he re-signed the kid from Africa. So he gave out a lot of money to. So his hands was tied when he was trying to go get some legitimate bigs in free agency.
All right.
And so that's why I think they need to make a move. They need to be looking to trade Lowry or something to go get them some bigs, because they don't have nothing to paint.
So let me just go back to you, Chuck. 2013, they finished 3rd, 14, 4th, 15, 2nd, 16, 3rd, you know, so on and so forth. Obviously, the first 2017, 18, second and second, but your boys weren't there back as far as 2013. Neither Serge nor Mark was there back
again, but before they had their guys, But remember, they had Valachuenis, they had the other guy. They've always had.
My argument was just the three guys that you named. They were good before them. That was my only point. That they were.
But that's the thing, Kevin. They wasn't aggressive to retain to get more talent.
My point to you was they had serviceable bigs.
Okay.
Which allowed them. They had Valachuenis and they had another guy before they had Serge. Now they don't have that. And there's you don't have no big front line, but you're still trying to play small in the backcourt. You can't do that.
Right.
They're playing Van Fleet and Lowry on the court at the same time with no bigs. They got a guy 6'8" down there in the paint.
They trying hard and hustle again. Hey,
yeah, I know.
Okay, moving to college, man. What happened to all these blue bloods, Chuck? I mean, the only blue blood in the top 25 right now is Kansas.
And they just got beat by 30.
And we don't have not one blue blood in
they're
it.
not good. I think what you are seeing is the balance of power is starting to shift because these kids nowadays are realizing that you don't have to go to all these blue blood schools in order to go someplace and make an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And they get it, and to make matters worse, your guys like Coach K, Roy Williams, those guys are getting up in age, man, and these kids don't know how many years these guys going to continue to coach. So are they gonna, why go to Duke instead of when I can go to Baylor, or I can go to Gonzaga now, or I can go to
Texas,
Alabama, I can go to Texas, with all these up and coming young good coaches, playing in these good conferences. It ain't going to North Carolina ain't like it used to be.
Wow. Hank Jam.
I think it's a combination of what he said, as well as I think a lot of these kids too, especially the cream of the crop players, are starting to see things like I can go to the G League or I can go overseas. Kids have gotten smarter about their choice of school now. So that's another thing. Also, I believe because if you remember, Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, they brought in some big classes, some big time done All-Americans this past season. And I don't want to use it as an excuse, but I think the reality of it is too, I believe that COVID has affected a lot of this thing too.
Hey, look, and go ahead and say what you wanted to say. Go ahead and say what you wanted to say. I know what you wanted to say.
I believe that COVID has played a part in all of this as well.
But go ahead and say what you was about to say. So that sounded like you was about to say, and a lot of these kids that everybody think is really, really good, these 5 stars really ain't 5 stars.
Yeah, it is.
Go ahead and say what you wanted to say.
Now, see, and that's the point that I wanted to make, because when you look at this same top 100 group, the blue bloods are still getting the bulk of the talent. So I hear what you're saying, Chuck, and yes, you're completely right, because you look at the top 10 and you see a name, Oklahoma State hit 1, USC at 3, Stanford's in there, Florida State's in there, Texas, Memphis. Y'all were right when you're saying that. However, once you go down through the entire list, you start seeing this usual suspects. But like Chuck said, my argument was going to be this. Boy, a 5-star ain't what they said is no more.
Yeah. 5-star ain't 5-star ain't what they think it is.
Well, that argument can be said. That can be said. I mean, but it also can be, because a lot goes into that too. Because we see kids who are talented. We seen kids who we thought wasn't so talented.
Right.
But yet he had a 5-star ranking because of his size and where the school he was attending. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when you got a kid 6'8", 6'10", and he's playing where everybody's he playing against a 6'2", 6'3", of course his star gonna go way up there because of his level of competition. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you 200%.
But I think too now, another thing too is a lot of these kids are resting on their loins too. They have the talent and just ain't producing because they feel like I'm gonna beat it. It's automatic.
I always say this.
We saw that with Reddick that was at Duke. Remember?
And I'm gonna continue to say this. When you evaluate talent, what exemplifies a 5-star? Because you could have a 5-star talent that may not be the brightest bulb on the tree and doesn't know how to be coached.
Right.
So you put him in a system where a coach is saying, hey man, this guy's talented, but yet and still he don't know the plays, or he don't understand our style of play. And a coach will shun on that. And if he shuns on that, now you take a kid, although he may have talent, and if he lose any inkling of confidence, now you got a 3-star or a 2-star. You understand what I'm saying? Especially from a kid who's been told that he's been the greatest thing since sliced bread his whole life, and now he's in a situation where he got to figure it out, and ain't nobody calling him no more.
Yep.
And that's what a lot of times that's what I see. I look at all these kids, and they have great YouTube highlights, and they got great Instagram highlights, and they got all the publicity and all of the politics behind them. But the fact of the matter still remains that if they go out there and they can't cerebrally make it in someone's system, or they can't be coached, then all of that means nothing, because at every level you have to do what? You got to start from the bottom and prove yourself and work yourself back to the top.
Yep. Right down.
Again, like I said, I mean, on this whole 5-star, I mean, because it's so different between basketball and football on how they giving this thing out. Because in basketball, they tell you this kid is the #1 kid in the nation at 12 years old. And this kid, and that's only based, and this kid ain't even played everybody. So how you gonna say he the #1 in the nation at 12 years old and he ain't played everybody in the nation? And so this is what basketball does. So now when he gets to this race, that's #1 point guard in the nation right there for the 12 and under. Huh? Then he play against a team and this kid get destroyed. So you say, where that rating came from? Because he had left the state of Indiana that was the first time he left the state of Indiana, and he came to Houston to the John Lucas and got Peter Roll. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's just how they come up with these rankings in basketball or whatnot. But to me, I get back to two things, man. And I posted this the other day, man. I get back to what I don't see, man, is attitude and effort. You find the kid with attitude and effort, you find the kid that's going to be successful. You cannot get away from that. Because one thing about Florida State has sent they have sent lottery picks the last 6 years.
Wow.
The guys they sent ain't out shooting you. All they doing is attitude and effort. The Magic just drafted one 2 years ago and just gave him $100 and something million. Okay? Jonathan Isaac. The kid that went the #6 pick for Florida State, he was off the bench and went #6. But he had attitude and effort. He had a great attitude. He was teachable. He plays hard. And he went lottery. So my thing is, coaches, to me, what they're starting to say is, even some of these, what they're starting to see is, hey, I teach him the game, but what he got already can't be taught. And that's attitude and effort. Man. He got to want it. And the boy from Auburn just sent 2 kids back to back. They ain't all that, but they got attitude, good attitude and effort. The very thing that Chris Paul and Westbrook bring every night. Attitude and effort. And that's the thing that I see a lot of these kids don't have.
Well, look, and this leads me to my final topic, man. And this is a question, for both of y'all, man. So you just gave attitude and effort. Chuck talked about how they ain't really what you think they are. A 5-star ain't really a 5-star. A 5-star lacking a little bit of confidence becomes a 3 or a 2-star. So I got a child. I want him to be D1 basketball. Chuck, what he got to get? Because I'm watching these kids, I'm seeing these kids. I go to games and watching these kids, and I'm just looking. And one of the things that I've seen lacking was what Pat Jam just said: attitude and effort. So what's being taught to these kids? Then how they gonna get to the D1 level?
I'll go back and take it further than that.
Okay.
Like, the game ain't gonna never change, whether it's basketball or football. The first thing you gotta have is you gotta have a love and a passion for it. You can have all the attitude you want. If you ain't got the love and the passion for the game within itself, it means absolutely nothing.
Wow.
We've all seen talented people. We've all seen guys that like the game that are really good, but there's a difference between the guy that like it and the guy that truly loves it.
It sure is.
All right? It's all the same, passion for the game, love of the game. All right. If you got the passion and love right there within itself, that eliminates 90% of the stuff, because guess what? You're going to be in that gym practicing every single time that you get an opportunity. Wherever the basketball is, that's where you want to be. Wherever they're playing, that's where you want to be. And you can't help but get good if you're doing it all the time.
Right.
If you're in the gym all day, there's nothing. The only way you can be bad is if you're just in there practicing bad things. But I don't think that that's possible, because you got so many outlets now that you can learn from, whether it's social media, YouTube, Instagram. You got all these trainers out there. You ain't even got to have a trainer, really. You can just look on Instagram and you could steal some drills off of what somebody else may be doing on Instagram. But you still have to have the love and the passion for the game.
But Chuck, I'm not seeing any gym rats. Who are gym rats?
Well,
we don't hear that word no more. We don't hear that word no more.
We're in totally different times now, man. Like, it's even hard to just find a gym now because of COVID and all this other stuff. But those who truly love it will find a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just how you see it. Like, we were spoiled.
Hey, and you just said gym, man. We was out the door too.
Look, you just said the way I said. We were spoiled. Like, we was kind of spoiled. Like, we found gyms. Like, now guys are playing in gyms, but now COVID has worked good in such a way to where, hey man, ain't no gym open no more. Now guess what you got to do? You got to go back to the old school way of doing it. You got to go outside, find a gym. But guess what else? When we played outside, guess what we were? We were better. We were better, healthier athletes. We were in much better shape, because guess what? If you playing up you playing up under the elements. The sun, the heat, the wind, you in better shape. You can run all day. These kids now, you know, every little thing happened. I couldn't even remember having a sprained ankle until I was like in college. Like, you got guys now that got sprained ankles. You got kids tearing ACLs. You got kids tearing Achilles at having old people injuries at younger ages, because we've just gotten softer as a culture.
Wow.
And the love ain't there.
See, I think that's a whole other conversation, because I think maybe they playing a lot more than we play. And when I say that, I mean this tournament stuff and got a game every week. So I think that injury thing could take on a whole nother conversation. Pat Jail, what you got to say about these kids and trying to get D1?
Fellas, I got to jump off.
Oh, okay. Appreciate you, Chuck.
Yes, sir, baby.
Chuck, love you. Appreciate you, bro.
I love you, Bob.
I think it goes back to, man, for these kids to be successful, man. I still say attitude. Your attitude, because your attitude affects how you approach the game. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. And like I said, the effort that ties in to how, that ties into the love, the effort that you're going to give. You know what I mean? The want to, and that's how you make it. Because my thing is, we predicate so much on all this exterior stuff, to my trainers and all this. We didn't have that growing up. Matter of fact, Kevin, you know what? The number one pick in the draft, he lost his mother and his grandmother both to cancer. Okay. He was staying with everybody that was housing.
Right.
He loved playing basketball. He didn't grow up playing with a trainer. Anthony Edwards was the number one pick in the draft, played football as well. He was a two-sport athlete.
Right.
And he said in the draft, before he got drafted, they asked him what was his favorite sport. He said football. He said, I love football. I watch football when I'm away from basketball.
Right.
Okay. He didn't have all this special stuff that these kids talking about they need. He was the number one pick in the draft. So I don't even believe, me personally, I don't believe that thing where the kid got to have all this stuff to train. He got to have this regimen. That no, the kid just got, if he want to play, he's going to get better on his own because he's going himself. He's not going to wait on somebody to tell him. He's going to do it himself.
Right.
And to me, how is it that I can only get better by having a trainer versus me just going out here playing in pickup games, hooping, just getting it in? I see kids with a step back. I see kids doing the James Harden and can't even dribble. I go to high school game.
I've been working on that. I can't dribble either, but I can do the step back.
So what? You need to learn how to dribble the ball. That's fundamental. You know what I'm saying? Kid doing a step back three, and he can't make 5 free throws in a row.
Hey, do they let them travel like James too?
No, they don't let them travel like James. But again, like I say, man, it's just when you look at it, everybody's under the mindset that we going to be the next LeBron James, and you 5'6". LeBron was 6'6" as a ninth grader, but you 5'6" as a ninth grader, and you saying you going, you know what I mean? It's just like the whole reality thing of it with these kids, man, is not given to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody think they're gonna go play for a blue blood, and you're not even starting on your high school team.
Y'all hating on me, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but y'all.
I mean, even we can go back to use you as an example. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you started in basketball, senior, junior, sophomore, and you said that ain't even my sport. Here these kids they ain't even starting, and they telling you, I want to go play for Duke. Huh? You was a football guy, and they got these kids, all they play is one sport, and they telling you, I want to play for Duke or Carolina, and you ain't averaging 10 points a game.
You ain't dominating the single sport you're a part of.
The single sport you're a part of, you're not even dominating. So I think at the end of the day, man, I think we're doing these kids a disservice by not giving them the truth on this thing, man. You know, because we're making it like we're making it like we've given them so much. They have the mindset everything's gonna be given to them. You know what I mean? And nothing is being earned.
Well, I think that's a good place to end Pack Jam. It couldn't have been said any better. We're gonna holler at y'all, man. Like us, share us, holler at us next time. We appreciate y'all stopping through, pulling up, hollering at us because you know us. With Pack Jam and Klew from Sideline to Baseline, we are gone.
I want to say bye.
Oh, too late.